Hi.
How are you, darling?
Oh, hot. It's still July right now. Summer's coming.
It's always
What
summer
day
at
is
Metro Access.
Now, you'd appreciate this if it was December.
We'll see about that.
Well, you had those funny stories, but they weren't in the New York Times.
No, they were not.
Record.
No,
They
weren't.
told us recently about the Star Wars play act where they fixed up the target so that it would definitely be hit. They sort of, they fortified it.
They heated it up.
Yeah, they heated it up. That was $30 billion that Congress appropriated. Then we heard that the whole Cold War was also heated up, and that's only another about $2 trillion.
Is that like microwave?
last
What do you
week
mean
we-
by heated up?
Well, they heated it up in the newspapers and in the congressional committees, and in the War Department. Do you remember when they used to call it the War Department?
Yeah.
Honesty in Advertising. And so we went on a binge with the Soviet Union that destroyed both the Soviet Union and it obviously almost practically destroyed our own economy. $2 trillion worth of nothing, or rather murder weapons. Anyway, here's some more news from the Times. You see on the front page it says, jobless rate fell to 6.8%, lowest in 2 years. Oh, I'll read it to you.
Would you?
And the next day on the op-ed page, Bob Herbert's the extreme left wing of the New York Times. I don't know how he got in there anyway.
Well, he's from the Daily News.
Well, yeah. He had a little piece called The Real Jobless Rate. See, the jobless rate never counts the people who have stopped looking for work. That's at least 1.2 million workers. I think it's probably more. Then there are 6.3 million who are only partially employed, people who would really want to work. Another larger group are overqualified. You know, that's everyone in the world. Overqualified. And I'd like to read this. The unemployment rate by itself doesn't describe the ultimate vulnerability of American workers. Not only are fewer jobs available, but the quality of the jobs has declined. Manufacturing jobs that provided relatively high wages, good benefits have been replaced by service jobs and by non-union jobs, right? Unemployed now, it's reaching the white-collar workers, middle management, and among the most vulnerable are those who are middle-aged. Now, here's another story that appeared a little while back in the Times. This is my favorite in the business section. Finally, a good break on wages. You know what the good break was?
No.
The dramatic slowdown in wage increases. Oh, it was the business page.
Oh, for the...
So I wrote them, Friedrich actually wrote them this letter. Dear asshole editors of the New York Times, make it really good news and cut your own wages 50% at least. That greatest of all boons to the employer class, a continually growing reserve army of the unemployed to constantly drive down the rate of payment, to make the current wage, the wage acceptable to the most desperate.
Wow.
Hey,
That's heavy.
Now the Times is, changing. It's changing, it wants to attract all kinds of people, at least all the kinds of people who don't live on the street or in Bed-Stuy or who don't have much money.
Really?
So this was really, I was surprised to see this in the Times style section on a food supplement. At the Cafe Ritz, can we get in on this?
I don't know.
You see, this is the old fucks abroad. I guess I'll have to read
Cool.
it. The Cafe Ritz. And the maitre d' is saying, "Greeting, monsieur et madame. Will that be farting or non-farting?" Well, that French food. And then they have their, they have their medical and their sex section all the time.
Don't they ever?
And I was surprised to this was considered sort of really way out for them.
Do you do sex?
Not since the 60s. If you want to read
What's
more,
to live by?
if you want to read more about
Sex in the 60s.
times
Oh, no.
and the way journalism operates as part of the ruling class in this country, there's a journal called Lies of Our Times, and it doesn't only talk about the New York Times. It's a monthly, and their addresses and phone numbers in the Manhattan telephone directory. Lies of Our Times, a slogan to remember. Thank you.
Thank you. That was Mr. Kupferberg.